Hello, everyone, and welcome into today's reading. Today is Friday, March 22nd, and we're going to be taking a look at what all energies are wanting to come through for you from God, Spirit, the Divine. So it looks like we're getting ready to wrap up the week here. Hopefully everyone's had a good week and you have some fun, exciting things planned for the weekend. One of the things, before we get started, I'm very excited. I have a new deck that just came in. So this is one of those ones where it's a blank deck where I'm going to be writing on the cards, but I thought the backs of these were really pretty. So I've done this before. As if you're new to the channel, welcome in. If you've been here before, then a lot of these things will look familiar. This is the ones that I use for my timing deck. So these are cards that I created. I also have another deck that has messages on it, but it's the same backing because I took it from the same pile of blank ones, and then I spray painted on there and then wrote the messages. So I'll be working on the messages for on this one. So I think I'm going to do it as a deck about love or like hidden messages. So you may have seen this deck come up before. I know other readers have used it, and it seems like when other readers use it, it goes well. The last time when I did this, I think it was for a semi-monthly set of readings, it seemed like the messages coming up were just absolutely totally off base with how the rest of the reading had gone. So I haven't really used them much, if you were wondering. But the other thing I was going to say, from a poll perspective, do you have a favorite deck that I use? So I cycle through different decks. You can see the ones that I'm going to use for today. It's the Moon deck. It's this Soul Journey deck and our Spirit Animal deck. But then I also have these other ones that I use regularly on the channel. So if you have a favorite deck that you would like to see more of, let me know in the comments down below. Or if there's one that just doesn't seem to resonate, let me know. Also, this one, if you haven't seen it, this is specifically a Twin Flame deck, so I only use this during the Twin Flame readings. So if you were wondering what this one is, if you just watch the dailies or some of the other special ones, I only use that one for Twin Flames because it's specific to the Twin Flame journey. So alrighty, let's go ahead and dive into today's reading and see what all messages are coming through. So I'll pull some cards for the collective in general and then go sign grouping by sign grouping. And remember, take only what resonates. If this doesn't seem to match up with your story, then it's a message that's maybe not intended for you. But let's jump in. And also, there will be special readings for the eclipse. So that's going to be coming up soon. The eclipse that's on Monday, and then there's also the eclipse in April. But I'll be doing some special readings, so make sure you hit the subscribe and notification bell if you want to be alerted as to when those new videos are posting. So, all right, let's take a look. We have our Seven of Cups, lots of choices. Four of Wands, looks like some happiness. And then our King of Cups in reverse, so a little bit of, manipulation. This one is about manipulation, and there's worry and stress. So there's this energy of, are you being manipulated? And, there's so many choices out here. So your Seven of Cups is about having lots of choices and not really knowing what direction you want to go. There's some indecisiveness, but it's like there's this energy of wanting to be happy, wanting to have that bliss, that fulfillment. And with this card, looking at this, so this is also a Twin Flame card because it's the 1111. It's like this is where you want to get to, but you're sitting here in this energy of there's too many choices. I don't know which one is going to lead me to this happiness. And so there's this worry and this stress of, well, if I pick the wrong one of these cups, is it going to take me further away from this? Or, which of these cups is bringing me closer? So that's what we're going to dive into and see if we can get any clearer messages as to which of these cups is going to get you closer to where it is that you want to go. All right. Today we will start with our fire signs, which is Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. So let's see what all messages want to come through for our fire signs for today. The Sun. So energetically, you are being pushed into your blessings. You are definitely being guided to go towards this path of happiness. And, with this Four of Wands, this is also about just like bliss and harmony and finding that stable home. And so some of it, remember, home is the physical residence that you have, but it's also that feeling in here. It's that feeling of, I belong, I'm happy, I'm at peace. That's where your home is. So you're being guided to find that happiness, to find that peace. So it's a matter of listening to your intuition, listening to your heart, and what are your guides trying to tell you? What are they telling you to release? So some of these cups are filled with something that is manipulating you. So even, look at this King of Cups energy. Granted, it came up in the reverse, but, drinking champagne. So there's some cups over here that are going to be filled with something that's taking you further away from your happy place. So it's a matter of using that intuition to figure out what exactly is that happy place. How do I get there? And it's time to take action. New moon in Aries. So this is a super loud message here for specifically our Aries. So I did this as a fire sign reading, which is for Aries. And this one is new moon in Aries. We are currently in Aries season. So this is a very strong message for our Aries, that you need to take action. So if you've been sitting here admiring these cups from afar and, I've got this choice, I've got this choice, I've got this choice, now's the time to take action. You need to do something about these choices that are out there, because, some of these choices aren't going to, it's not going to look the same. It's not like, if I just wait long enough, the universe is going to step in. If I just wait long enough, something will change. Like, part of your lessons here on this planet, it's how to stand up for yourself, how to take action. So that's what needs to be happening now for you, because actually today, what was it? On the 22nd, Mars is entering Pisces. And so that's this very energy and very, very driven type of sense, because Mars is also that Aries energy. So you have that, but then you have patience. I accept that everything happens in divine order. So there is this sense of it's time to take action. So even though the card says patience, when it says everything's happening in divine timing, divine order, divine timing is now. So for you, divine timing is now. You've been taking this patient approach of, I'm just going to sit here and look at it a little bit longer. And it's like, okay, but now's the time to take action. With the shift with Mars and with this time to take action. So let's see what spirit animal you have. It's dragon, supernatural. You are the ancient wise sage. You can shapeshift at will. Mastery is your destiny. Rise with dignity. So the comment here about shapeshifting is more along the lines of you can reinvent yourself. Just because you've always presented in this format or fashion doesn't mean that is what you are stuck with for the rest of your life, especially as you get older. The path you chose when you were 16, 20 years old, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's exactly how you're going to be for the next 50 years of your life. So while yes, some of your core values, your core traits and things like that will stay relatively consistent probably for a lot of people, it doesn't mean that, say you chose that you wanted to be an engineer when you were 17 years old, like out of high school. That's what I want to be. Doesn't mean that if that's not working for you 30 years later that you have to be like, but I chose it. I'm stuck here. You can shapeshift. You can do what your heart is calling you to do what your soul's calling you to do. So that was for fire signs. That was for Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Now we are moving on to our earth signs. So that is Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. We have the world. So something is coming full circle. It's coming to conclusion. A cycle is wrapping up. And when we look at choices and this manipulation and worry and stress, you've been worried about this cycle coming to an end, but that's part of the process. So life in general is all about death and rebirth and reinvention, and this is a good time of year to think about that, because as we look outside, in the northern hemisphere, it's springtime. And so the trees are starting to come back to life. And, even if you're in, I guess, the southern hemisphere and it's going the other direction, like, okay, all of the leaves are falling and you're getting ready for winter to come in. That's all part of the process. So changes of seasons are those perfect reminders that everything comes to an end and then it starts again. So rather than trying to manipulate this and trying to keep this end from coming, there's different choices to make. So you can make a different choice that's going to be a happier choice for you and is going to lead you down a happier path. Our jumper card was surrender to the divine, full moon. And then nothing will come of this situation. So this situation that you are desperately trying to keep at bay, nothing's going to come of it. So you need to surrender to the divine and let the cycle close. Let it play out. Let it do what it's supposed to do. And from the higher perspective, step back and say, okay, what was the lesson here? What was I supposed to be learning? When I was standing there looking at all of these choices and I kept choosing this one choice, was there something I could have done differently? Should I have done something differently? And not to dwell on what it could have, should have, but that's the way also that you learn is you look and you say, okay, I had signs leading up to this. What signs was I not paying attention to? And what was I maybe overlooking? Like maybe you just really didn't see it, but what was I overlooking and what was I intentionally choosing to overlook that maybe was prolonging this, was creating more worry and more stress and allowing me to be manipulated. All right, purpose. I know what I'm here to do. So some of this is as you surrender to the divine and let a cycle close out, it is tied to this knowledge of I'm here for a bigger purpose than this. So, I'm here for a bigger reason. My calling is something bigger than I go do a job that I don't like, that doesn't fill my bucket, that doesn't really do anything. Like I'm here to make more of an impact. All right, and let's take a look at what is your spirit animal. Swan, grace. You who glides across the waters of my soul, bring me your wisdom and light. Help me transform into elegance and grace. Inspire me with dignity and the spirit of beauty. So this is about embracing your future with like grace and dignity. And if something, for example, if something is closing, and these cards all kind of have this like purple hue because there's this purpley part over here. So allowing these changes to come in and embracing it as, okay, this was an important phase of my life, an important lesson, and now I've learned it. I know more. I can step forward confidently into the future to give me something, to bring in something better that's more aligned with my purpose here. So that was our message for our earth signs, which was Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. And now we will move on to our water signs. So water signs is Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. And let's take a look at what comes through for Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. The Star. So this is that sense of hope and joy and optimism. So even though you're sitting here with these choices and feeling like you've been manipulated and you're worried about, well, what if I make the wrong choice? You are hopeful. You have that optimism that you're going to be making the right choice and that you're going to be going down a path that's leading you towards happiness. So, the interesting thing, and I just saw this as I'm looking at this. So with these choices that you're making, so her card has all these cups with different cocktails in it. In both of these cards, over here, this one has his cocktail, or she does, sitting in her hammock. She has her cocktail. He has his drink over here. So these are all choices. They're all woven together. They're choosing, this cup or that cup. And cups are also representing a lot of times like your blessings and your emotions. So, or I guess not necessarily blessings, but your emotions. So from this, you're choosing which emotional state do you want to stay in? Do you want to be in an emotional state of like worry and stress and low vibe, or do you want to move into your your emotion of choice, which is that happiness and that joy and that bliss. So it's kind of like all of the cups have some sort of liquid in them. Some of them have poison. Poison is still, you can still drink poison, but do you really want to? All right. Confidence is your key to success. So some of it, and that's going to be your key to bringing in the happiness, is having the confidence of saying, you know what, I deserve to be happy. I deserve to sit in my blessings, and I don't deserve to be in a place of feeling like I'm worried all the time, feeling like somebody's manipulating me. Do I have to second guess this person's actions? So having that confidence in yourself that you deserve happiness, you deserve peace and joy in your life. All right, fear. I realize that I'm testing my resolve to live in the energy of love. So some of these cups, some of these choices that you have are based on old patterns, and you've gotten used to living in certain patterns, and sometimes that can be really hard to break because it's that whole saying, better the devil you know. Sometimes the fear of the unknown can be crippling. It can be truly, truly paralyzing for people, that it's like they would rather stay in a terrible situation because they know it. At least they know the parameters of it. They know what that prison cell looks like, but they don't know what the other thing looks like. Is it a prison? Is it a garden? Is it a, fiery pit? They don't know. So they end up staying. And this card, I realize I'm testing my resolve to live in the energy of love. A lot of that is that energy of self-love. You're being tested by the divine. Will you step into that self-love? Will you put yourself first and your own happiness first? And there is a lot of joy and optimism because, yes, I believe you're going in that direction. There is going to be that moment of fear where it's like, am I really sure? But keep that joy and that optimism. Your spirit animal card is dog, friend. Today, I will love without condition. My energy and enthusiasm are an inspiration. I choose to be happy. I am a protector and friend. So for all of you dog lovers out there, and also that has that energy of that pack mentality. So during this time, if you're making a choice and it's a really tough choice and one that has a lot of fear around it, call out to your friends, call out to your pack, to your soul tribe for some help and some guidance and some support during that. All right, so that was our water signs, our Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Last but not least, we have our air signs, our Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. So air signs, what all do you have coming in for you? Death. So something is coming to an end. So for our Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, it's about making a different choice. If you've been feeling, kind of stressed out about something and you feel like you've been manipulated, now's the time to make a different choice. So it's ending whatever that thought pattern was or whatever that situation is that has been keeping you kind of looping through this. You have other choices. Like there's a number of other choices. So you don't need to choose to keep drinking the poison that you've been drinking. There is a happier choice, but that's going to come on the heels of this death card. That's going to, your Four of Wands, your happiness that wants to come in is coming on the heels of this death card. It's coming on the heels of something changing. So, and remember, the death card is not as dramatic as Tower, but it definitely has a shift to it. It's like there's this aha moment, this, wait a second, why am I doing this? And I remember at work, they always used to say the worst answer you can give when someone says, well, why do you do it this way, is we've always done it that way. Just because you've always done it that way doesn't mean it's the right way to do it, or doesn't mean that it is still the right way to do it. It may have been the right choice 10 years ago when somebody said, hey, let's do it like this, but doesn't mean that it's still the right choice for you. All right. You are good enough. So if part of this is, that you're staying in a job that's below where you should be, or you're staying in a relationship that isn't really filling your bucket, but it's kind of like, well, but if I leave, am I going to be on my own? Maybe some of this is that I should have done something different. This is that reminder from the universe that you are good enough. It's not a matter of you didn't do something. It's a matter of there being an energetic mismatch between you and whatever the situation is. So don't lower your vibration to meet the vibration of the situation. Demand, I guess that would be the right word, demand that the situation rise up to meet you. So whether it's a job, like holding higher standards that, no, I need to be treated like this, I need to be compensated like this, whether it's a friendship of, no, you can't keep blowing me off all the time, or a romantic partnership of, no, I'm not going to carry all the weight of this marriage on my shoulders. Like, you need to do your part too. Know that you are good enough to be able to stand in your power to say, I demand to be treated fairly. I demand to be treated how I would like my inner child to be treated. Relationships. I'm attracted to those people who serve my higher good. Now, this is something, it's interesting because with relationships, when it says I am attracted to people who serve my higher good, know that it may show up differently than hearts and flowers and fluffy bunny rabbits and things like that. So if you are attracted to, say you're attracted to the loner bad boy, like that sort of thing, but it also ends up being a person that is, kind of flighty, who's not really there for you, who doesn't have a stable job, but oh, they're so cool, they're a bad boy. Well, part of that could be your higher good is that you need to speak up for yourself, and that you need to say, okay, these are the things that are important to me. Because if you're attracted to that sort of person, and then you end up getting burned because, well, when I needed them, they weren't there for me, there wasn't any stability, part of that, your higher good is learning to speak up for yourself and learning to say, this is what's important to me, here's my boundaries. So your higher good, sometimes it's coming in the form of lessons. So it's not necessarily that every relationship that you're attracted to people that are going to make you feel warm and fuzzy and not challenge you to grow. So remember, a lot of times your higher good is growth. So you are probably going to be attracted to people that are challenging you to grow until you get to a point where you've moved past some of these cycles, and then you'll be attracted to people who make you feel safe and good and moving forward in your purpose. So a little bit of a disclaimer on that relationships one, depending on where you are in your life cycle, if you still have lessons to learn, you might be attracted to the wrong person because there's a lesson that you still have to learn, and that's what's going to bring you to your higher good. And then we have polar bear, mystic. Know that challenges make you stronger. Have faith when you face adversity. Take time to rest, dream, and renew your strength. Embrace your psychic abilities. You carry the shaman within. So this is really about like grounding and connecting with your gifts. So a lot of time in meditation, in walking in nature. Hopefully, if you're in a place where it's warm enough, you can get outside, get some fresh air. But really being able to connect at a deeper level with yourself, with the world around you, with the energy around you, so that you can kind of see what is your highest good. So, and as we look at these and kind of pull them together on the relationships one, because that card was a little different, you do have, this Four of Wands is that twin flame energy. So there is going to be an attraction there. And as I was talking about, like with the lessons, there could be lessons that have to be learned there. But just remember, you are good enough, and you need to stand in that power to say, okay, these are my lessons. I'm embracing them. I'm going to do what I need to do and then move on. And that's really going to help you stand in your power and stand in your truth. So I hope that you found today's message to be helpful. As always, take only what resonates. And as I had mentioned, there's going to be some extra readings coming out here over the next week. So make sure you hit the subscribe and notification bell if you want to be alerted as to when those videos are being released. Otherwise, I wish you peace and joy along your journey. Until next time.